They say art imitates life. Tonight, we'll see if that's the case with Liz Vega, an artist whose paintings can elevate your emotions with one quick look. Plus, we'll be talking to Jameka Joiner, event planner, creator, and designer of Luxury and Bliss, who's taken her leap of faith at starting something new. Join us for an inspiring time and a whole lot of fun. And it all starts right now on A New Thing Live. Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to A New Thing Live. My name is Cindy Galley, and I am the host of this fun new web show where we talk all things new. We've got so many new things going on in the world and in our lives and in our at the workplace, with our families, all of the above. And so we're just super, super glad that you're here. Of course, we always have a beautiful show for you. And I hope that you can hear me because last week, for the first 3 minutes, my audio was gone awry and very muting me. So we couldn't hear anything I was saying. And so it was hysterical, and it was not hysterical. 3 minutes of like me talking to the camera and no audio. So thank you so much for coming back and joining us today. We're so excited about tonight's guest. Every show we're excited about because we know that there is something new and unique. We believe that every person that comes on the show, it's a divine appointed time for them to be here, to be a guest, for them to speak, and for them to share about the new things that are happening in their lives. So we're so glad you're here. This is an interactive show. So let us know where you're from. If you're watching on Facebook, we welcome you, Facebook. Hello, everybody on Facebook. And all you YouTube viewers, hello. We're so glad that you're here. And also Instagram Live, we're glad that you're here. Welcome as well. And so be interactive with us. Do the comments, do the thumbs up, talk to each other. That's one of the fun things that I love about reading and going through all the comments. What I do afterwards is I jump on the show's link and then I am able to comment on Facebook and interact. I don't know that YouTube has given me that. Maybe they haven't. I just haven't figured it out yet. But we do want you to be involved. And, if you feel like throwing a watch party, hey, we're not going to stop you. So there's so many fun ways that you can share about A New Thing Live. It is an inspirational show. It is a motivational show. We believe this is a safe place for you to be on Monday nights, especially for those of you who do not like or who do not watch Monday Night Football. Of course, we want to make a place for everybody. So even if you are a football watcher, and I don't even know the seasons, and I should, but I don't. So we are glad that you're here. It's very special. It means a lot to us that you would. I do see someone on YouTube already saying, nice art. We got somebody, oh yes, from New Jersey. Welcome, New Jersey. Welcome, Anaheim. Welcome, Pomona. We're so glad that you are here joining us on YouTube. And I will be able to take a quick look in a little bit at who's joining us from Facebook. So what is going on? Of course, we want everyone to be doing well. It is our prayer. It is our heart that every one of you are doing well, that your families are doing well. And so what's going on? What's going on new with you? So this past week, and I think I see something fun coming to me from the other side. This past week, there was a lot going on, but one of the things that I'm most excited about is it was National Pancake Day. Hey, oh yes, pancakes. I'm going to bust into one right now, but IHOP is doing something so special. Oh, let's get that clip back up. IHOP is doing something so special right now. Just because of everything that's going on with COVID, they are actually extending National Pancake Day. It's an IOU for a free meal or for a free short stack meal. So for those of you that are watching, if you are like me and you like pancakes, and trust when I say I love pancakes so much, and I'm going to be eating some right now. Oh my goodness, they're so good. So right now my pancakes like have no syrup and no butter, and they're so good. But be sure. Oh no, we're good. We're good, sweetie. Thank you. Be sure to go to the IHOP and get your IOU. You have until March 31st. So take advantage of that. What a beautiful thing. And thank you so much, IHOP, for doing that. It's so very thoughtful. For those of you like me who missed National Pancake Day last week, I'm super excited about this IOU. This is actually not even an IHOP pancake that I'm eating, but we're so excited that I'm eating pancakes today on this show. I love to eat. For those of you that don't know, I love to eat. Okay. But not only National Pancake Day, this day, especially for those of you who live where I live in the state of California, it is National California Day. Happy National California Day. So many songs about California. California Dreamin'. We love California. What about Huey Lewis's I Love LA? I mean, okay, that's not which one? Yes, yes, yes. Even though that's about LA, I love California. I'm a native, born in Hollywood, raised in California. Yes, I've lived in Alabama. Twice I've lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would actually like to live in Oklahoma one more time in this lifetime, but who knows if that'll ever happen again. But happy National California Day to all my Californians. Every one of us, I know we're all in this time of COVID together, but things have been pretty strict here, pretty rough here. And so just we're sending out nothing but love and prayers and blessing to every one of our Californians. And I didn't mention last week that it was National Wisconsin Day. And because my sister lives in Wisconsin, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of Wisconsin, especially Madison and Fitchburg. Happy Wisconsin Day. Y'all are loved. It's definitely not anywhere in the near temperature vicinity as what we're in. I believe it was just a little bit over zero. Even when the sun's out, it's zero. Sometimes it's -0. And so, what we did want to say, I should have said it last week and I didn't. So, happy National Wisconsin Day. Speaking of states, Texas, we want to just continue to offer up our prayers to all of Texas. As of a few days ago, I know that there were still 14 million Texans were still affected by the weather and no electricity and it being very extremely cold. And so, I want to just actually just offer up a quick prayer even now. So we're going to do that. Father God, in Jesus' name, we just come to you and we lift up the state of Texas to you, Father, just asking that you would bring comfort to those who need it, that even supernaturally, God, that you would do in all of their homes what cannot be done in the natural. We really are looking to you and we're calling out to you to provide and to bring the resources and to give the government just supernatural wisdom and strategy and how to help resource the entire state of Texas. And so we thank you that we know that your word tells us that your word doesn't return to you void. It accomplishes what you please and it prospers in the thing for which you sent it. So we thank you that you send your word. Even today, we're standing and we're calling out on your help on behalf of Texas today. Just be with everybody there. And we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. It's so hard to even imagine what that's like. I personally walked through something similar when I lived in Oklahoma. My roommate and I, we lost actually the whole city of Tulsa and the surrounding areas, Broken Arrow and all these other little other towns around us. We all lost power. Now, for me personally, I lost power for an entire week. And it was just the craziest thing because I was born in California. I lived in Tulsa before. And that had never happened before. But when it did happen, you could hear the icicles like slamming down on the electrical cords, the power lines, and you would hear that bzz. And I just remember the last night that I had power, I just said, oh, please don't let us lose power. And then the next day, my roommate's like, guess what? We lost power. So we had lost power for a week. We did the best that we could do. But the times were different then. We weren't going through COVID. So a lot of us headed to the malls and a lot of the places that had generators. And we went to the movies. We hung out. We, we had Mexican food at the restaurant at the mall, and then we just bundled ourselves and our pets as best as possible. And I remember making my way to my sister's for a night, and they had lost power for 3 days. I think theirs came back on 3 days later, but she had a fireplace, and that was rough for me because I worked on the other side of town, so I ended up going back to the side of town. It's just, you don't even realize how crazy the weather, how it affects all of these things. But just to see people in such a need this past week was very heartbreaking, and seeing icicles inside people's homes. I talked to my roommate, and you could see the cold breath. We're talking, and you could see the cold air coming out of our breath. And I'm like, this isn't right. One of the only advantages I would say for our situation was that because it was so cold, we put everything in a cooler, and we put it out on the patio in the back. So everything stayed cool. We didn't lose any of our food. But so our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you, Texas. We do love you, and we're standing with you. Know that people around the world are praying for you right now. So some other pretty exciting news that has happened on a more bright side is Mars successfully landed. And so I was just tripping out because it just dawned on me that actually, no, they left on the 30th. So the mission departed on the 30th of last year, and then they just landed on the 18th. And so initially my wires were crossed, and I was thinking that they had left and they were out in orbit, and then they came back on the 18th. And then our segment producer said, no, they actually landed on the 18th. I was like, dang, that's a long time. That is a long time to be out in orbit. So my prayer is that when they come back, that there will be some just some good things happening here on the earth and in our world, is my heart and is my hope. So I don't know, you probably feel a little bit like I do, but this has been the month of love, and we've had some wonderful people here on the show. And this month was also National Lashes. Actually, it was National Lashes Day, was last Friday. So we just want to give a quick shout out to one of our girls, Melody from Melody's Lashes. She is just this beautiful, bright, small business owner. And so check out her Instagram, check out her handle, follow her. She's got a great deal going on right now. It's like $5 a lash for each set. And then I think it was $5 for shipping. And I was like, wow. So I did a fun little reel, because I've never done a reel in my life, but I did a fun little reel. And it was just fun, putting on the lashes and all of that. I love being a girly girl in that way. But that video took me a long time to make. I was like, good Lord, all these people that are so good at making these reels and doing TikTok, I don't know how they have the time to do that. So I don't know. If I do any more reels, it's going to have to be a lot more simple than that. But check out Melody's Lashes on Instagram and give her some love. And would you also just place an order for some lashes, $5 and $5 shipping. It's going to be awesome. So, okay. So you have been following us probably now. If you have been following us, actually, we launched in October. So October, November, December, January. So we've been a show for a little bit over 4 months. And now we're just thinking we're getting so much feedback. And people are saying, people have to see your show. It's so inspiring. It's so encouraging. Somebody texted me this week and said, I watched this past week's show 3 times. I loved it. It was funny and inspired me, had me cracking up. We're getting so much great feedback. And so thank you all for sharing about how this show has strengthened you, how it's blessed you. We're just silly here and we're having fun. We're having fun, but we really do believe that we have some wonderful people who are doing some pretty amazing things. And so we just don't feel like it's right just for us to know about it. We want you to know about it, because really every one of us, if you're breathing, you have something so special and so significant that you are to contribute to this world and to this earth. And, sometimes you just need that extra push. Like, I want to do it, but I'm afraid, or I want to do it, but I don't know how. And so we have people on here that we're bringing on here that are doing it. They're working it. They're learning it. And so they're sharing with us some of the things that they learned, some of the mistakes, but also just to help build you up and give you that courage to be able to do it. So one of our producers put together a fun little video to help encourage you. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. And if you're watching on Instagram Live, subscribe. And if you're watching it on Facebook and you have not yet subscribed, we're asking all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So here's a quick little clip that will encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube.
Remember those robes on the doors? Yep, early in the morning.
The princess right here.
Yeah. Je t'aime Paris, je t'aime Paris. Oh, oui, oui, mademoiselle. We're going to let you get one more and then that's it. Okay, we gotta get some more of this fish.
But this is where my mind goes. It's like you just wonder, like afterwards, are you like on the teacup?
Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
That's a fun song. So, hey, if you haven't yet, would you subscribe to our YouTube channel? It's a new thing live. And then take that link and share it and say, hey, just even with one person, just say, this is a fun show. I watch it when I can. Some people tell me that they literally block off their Monday nights. And it's not just my mom, because mom does it for sure, but it's other people too. And so if you would take that link and some of you share it on your Instagram, I'm just so thankful. We feel so honored that you would do that. But we really do believe that there's some wonderful life impacting, life changing, even healing. Last week, there was so much healing that happened from my mentors and my pastors, Pastors Jerry and Kimberly. They shared just about forgiveness, and she was very vulnerable and very raw with what she had to walk through to forgive her dad, who was an alcoholic. And it just was beautiful. I mean, it was blowing up our feed. And so it really is. I mean, we do have fun, but at the end of the day, it really just comes to you just being inspired and encouraged that you can live the best life that you're called to live and be the very best version of you that you can be. And so thank you so much for letting me put that little plug in. Okay, are you ready? So excited to have both of our guests out. But right now, we're bringing out our first guest. A luxurious world of joy is what tonight's first guest set out to do. And that's exactly what she's done in the launch of not just her business, but her businesses. So would you please help me welcome Jameka Joiner? Jameka.
Hello.
Hello there, my friend. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am so good. It's so good to see you. And I get to see you quite frequently on Zoom, if I might add. So I'm one of those blessed people that get to do that. But we're so glad that you're here. You're looking beautiful today.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And okay, your little office. Okay, just talk to me about that first. Yes. I love it. That is so, for me, that's going to be my office goals, because mine is the opposite. It's like, I feel every little, I love it, Jameka.
This is my inspiration wall.
Oh, girl. Well, you are an inspiration. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you here on our show. One of the couple of Zoom classes that we did, and you were busting out this and I said, oh, we got to bring her on because you were inspiring me. So I wanted, I'm like, why should I keep that all to myself? But I think it'd be so wonderful if we could bring her on a new thing live so she could also inspire others. So how are you doing? How have you been? How has your week been? Anything new, first of all, before we dive into your sharing a little bit more with us?
I'm doing wonderful. As far as anything new, I'm always creating new designs. And I was going to tell you, you keep having National this day, National that day. We need National T-shirt Day.
What? Yes. It's so crazy that you said that, because I actually got goosebumps when you said that. It gave me goosebumps over t-shirts. Well, I love t-shirts anyway. And I have to say yours is pretty powerful. It says fierce, strong, and then is it unbroken? Oh yeah, that's nice. I love that. Fierce, strong, and unbroken. Well, I'm super excited to get to talk with you, about your business and everything. And I guess we can just jump right into it because you said you create like all of the time. Tell us, how did you start your business? You have this beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeously branded business called Luxury and Bliss.
Yes.
First of all, how did you come up with that name? Because it's such a pretty name. It's just very calming and it's very serene and it feels very elegant and classy. How did you get this name, Luxury and Bliss?
I actually had the name from about 10 years ago, and it was just God, honestly. I didn't know exactly what path he was going to take me down with Luxury and Bliss, but I knew it was going to be a big brand name. And so as time went on, I designed my first business, which is Luxury and Bliss Events. So Luxury and Bliss is actually a parent company for multiple businesses. And I just recently launched Luxury and Bliss Faith Apparel, and that's my t-shirts. And I'm also working on Luxury and Bliss Inspires, which will be online courses and training material and things like that. So basically, it was nothing but God that basically gave me the name Luxury and Bliss. And here we are today.
I love that. That is so amazing. Launching a business is never an easy thing to do. And I've been on you with just a little bit, maybe of the more recent journey, just in our, getting to know each other and interacting a little bit more, from building your website to your launch dates and of course, photo shoots and for your product and then creating your product. What was the first thing that you needed to do to launch your business? First of all, what was that first step, that first thing that was like, I know once I do this, I'm going to keep going. What was that for you?
Well, that's like a twofold question, but the first thing that I did was do my research to make sure that my name was available, my business name was available, and then I became legit. So you have to get legit with like your licenses and things like that. But let me back up. As far as your name is concerned, make sure you go to trademark and make sure it's not trademark. Something happened most recently now that I've launched the Luxury and Bliss Faith Apparel. Companies are copying my business name. So I know that it's a popular business name, and I have like 5 companies that actually copied me. But I would also say just making sure you build a solid foundation with your business, making sure that you're legit. And then I think, did I answer your question?
No, you did. And that's so good. And I would have to say yes and amen to that. So, for example, I have an online magazine named Fashioned Magazine that we launched a little over 5 years ago. And I got that's trademarked. I couldn't believe, first of all, that the name was still available, Fashioned Magazine. But in conversation, somebody said, you really should get that trademarked. And then it triggered something that I'd actually walked through years ago. I was a coffee barista for a coffee company in Pasadena, and they actually were in a legal suit, a legal battle with Starbucks for the name. I want to say it was the name Frappuccino, because it was something that apparently the company that I worked for had come up with that name, but Starbucks did everything they needed to do to make that name legally and officially theirs. And so, yes, that is so key, getting that name trademarked. And Luxury and Bliss is a beautiful name. So I'm like, well, that, first of all, that just tells me you were onto something.
I actually had to hire a trademark attorney because, like I said, there's 5. One of the companies in particular, they took my same exact name and they just put a little dot. So they put a little dot. And so I'm pretty popular, I guess.
You are popular. You're very popular. Well, I'm so glad. I love that. Doing the research, making sure that your name is available and that it's legit, legitly your trademark name. I really do. I think that's so important. It's so imperative. And then, looking at your website. So now I'm talking a little bit more about the design side of things. I look at your website and I see all of these beautiful designs and slogans and quotes, or just these empowering phrases. What are some of the things that inspire you to come up with those different slogans on your t-shirts? Because they're all fabulous. When you look at your website, it's like, if I was a wealthy woman, I would want to be getting one of everything. I love t-shirts. And so, especially even now during the pandemic, it's just so easy to put on t-shirts and then your black leggings and some Adidas with a cute little jacket or something and be out the door. But your t-shirts are so stylish. They're just very chic and they're on point. So what are some of the things that have inspired you to be able to come up with those slogans? Or how do you determine this is definitely something that I want on my brand or on my apparel?
Well, I'm naturally creative. You know how you have like a singer or someone that has like a natural gift. For me, my natural gift is creativity. So I have like an eye for design. And as far as the actual designs, I have over 500 designs. And how that started was words and quotes would just drop in my spirit. And I would take my cell phone and I would just put those quotes inside my phone. And one day I looked up, I had over 500 designs. And then
wow,
from there, over 500 designs. And then from there, I didn't know what I was doing actually with those quotes. I didn't know that they were going to become t-shirts. But then all of a sudden, I would start seeing t-shirts all over the place. You know how like if you see a car that you want and then now all of a sudden you see that car all over the place. That's how it was. For t-shirts, I would see a t-shirt on any site I was on. I would see a t-shirt. Every time I was walking past a person, I would like look at the design of their t-shirt. So it was something that I was pretty much led to. And as far as the actual design, it just came natural. So each design just came natural. And every t-shirt has a meaning. So every wording on the t-shirt has a meaning behind it.
Wow, I like that. That's, I do something similar. And, 'cause I'm definitely a creative. And so I will be that person similar to you. I might be like at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and I will always go to this section that has like the little wooden messages and that little wooden art. And then I'll go to the wall art. And if I see something that's really speaks to me, I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah.
But then I do nothing else with it. I've got pictures going all the way back to who knows when. And I mean, I literally came across some not too long ago, and they've been on my phone, some of them for like 4+ years. And that doesn't even include the ones that have been uploaded, to the cloud and all of this. I'm like, oh my goodness, I definitely need a better organization system.
Yeah.
But I do really think that's so great. And I love that you took that prompting and you did something with it. It's so easy for, I think, for people to have this prompting to do something, but it doesn't make any sense at the time. And so they don't do anything with it. But in your case, you just went with it. And then you had it when it was time for that to launch. I would say, if you're watching and you get these little inklings of maybe titles and you're like, where's that title coming from? Where's that thought coming from? Just buy a little journal, buy a little book, write it down, a little book, and then you can ask the questions later. Oh, yes. Can you pop that up again? Yeah. I know the Lord is always with me. I love that. Exactly. And so it sounds to me very similar to what you did, Jameka, was just taking those slogans and those thoughts and capturing them and then putting them somewhere. I would say take it in a step further, like with what Jameka did, and put them in a nice file, maybe future slogans, future phrases in an album in your phone through your photos. So then you have them all somewhere. Yeah. Unlike unlike me, you know.
Well,
I love it. It inspires me, but then that's it, you know.
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I have, I think it's 5 different tabs for t-shirts.
Wow, that's wonderful. And then I know that your daughter is also, I believe she's the face of your brand. Well, she's beautiful. Yes.
Aww.
She's yeah, she's gorgeous. I want that t-shirt, Jameka. I want that t-shirt. Somebody on YouTube, and you might know them. It's De Terrell.
Oh, yeah, that's my accountability partner. Hey, D. Terrell.
Yeah, she's joining us on YouTube, and she's saying her t-shirts are stylish, classy, and elegant, and she's very creative and talented. So yeah,
She's
so you
actually one of my accountability partners. So we're working on our businesses together.
oh, that's so good. So that would to me would even be something else that I think for people that are wanting to start a business, having that person that you are accountable to. How long have you guys been accountable to each other in your business?
We actually met, I think, only a couple months ago. We're both a part of a group, an online
Okay.
Facebook group, and so it was like a perfect fit.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's important. You know, I haven't done that in a long while with regards to my businesses. Actually one of my very best friends passed away, but she was that person. We would dream together and we would check in with each other. And she'd say, "How are you here? Where are you at with this?" And we would go down the list with each other. And she was brilliant too. She was in the middle of patenting a product that she dreamt about and wrote it down, and she was going full throttle with it, but she had some other things as well that I have not forgotten because if I can help even launch even one of those things that she and I had talked about, I would love to be able to do that and then give that to her kids. But it's so important. That accountability is so important because we do, as business owners and entrepreneurs and creative people, especially when this is your business, this is your not just a passion project, it's what you feel very called to do. It's important to have that person because we don't always have these up days. We're not excited every day. Even if you have vision, there's just times where your mind will start to get the best of you sometimes and start telling you what you're doing wrong. And it just would be easier to give up and to quit. And so even for me, sometimes it's like, I'll be honest, sometimes it's like people don't want to hear you talk, and I have to like overcome that. I have to say, yeah, but it's not just about me. And I have to run with what the Lord gave me in my heart 20 years ago. This is why I'm doing a new thing live. So I have that push, but I have to agree it would be better for me to have somebody and helpful to have that accountability just to keep my tank full and just reminding me of what God has called me to do. So thank you for sharing in that. I think that's so powerful. My girl Alicia is on YouTube. She said, "I want that t-shirt." Can we put that t-shirt back up again? That one, 100% God's daughter. That is so beautiful.
Popular. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, we're excited because we are going to have your, in fact, we'll probably have it up as we continue in this conversation. We'll have your website as well coming up as we're chatting. But okay, so, maybe it was a little bit, was it last week or the week before? We were on a Zoom call and you busted out like your notebook. And you're saying, these are the things that, because on this particular call, it's about us being single. We are single people. It's co-ed, but most of the time it's mostly women with maybe one guy, and he's very lucky and blessed because we have a lot of wisdom and insight. But you busted out with, and this is what I do, and this is how I encourage myself. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is a wealth of wisdom here. Yes. Talk to us about how you do encourage yourself. And if you want to share that, we are all for it. Because I just see you doing a lot of, nobody is successful by chance. Even somebody that wins the lottery, if they don't have purpose or a plan, or if they don't have vision, that money's going to go away real quick because there was no using it with purpose.
Exactly.
It was right. And so you're pointing out all of these different things that you said, this is what I do, and these are the meditations that I do, and these are my, these are my affirmations that I say out loud. And I was like, oh my goodness, I would love for you to share that with us, because I know there are people that are watching either now or will be watching, that they have a sense that they are supposed to be doing something, and they've already seen glimpses of it, but they have not yet stepped up to the plate. Whether it's fear or their situation. I know that even in COVID, people are somewhat paralyzed. I was having a conversation. I hear a lot of paralysis in people right now, not really wanting to move forward and to step into what they've envisioned in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be willing to share just some of that process, how you write these? You don't have to actually show us if you don't want. They might be personal for you, but if you want to, whatever you want to do. But what is that process like now? What does that process look like for you? Give us an example of what one of those affirmations would be, and then what does that do to you and for you to help you keep moving forward?
Well, for me, I actually do a lot of prayer first. I call it my on the floor ministry, and I just learned to pray my way through my business. That's number one, and personally. As far as affirmations are concerned, I don't have any affirmations in particular, but I do have a process. I had to learn this process. It was not an easy process. I have a solid morning routine. I wake up, I do my hygienes, I get something positive going. So I might be dancing around the house, or I listen to like Joel Osteen. By 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm listening to my pastor, which is Pastor Jerry. And then I do about 15 to 20 minutes of cleanup. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it matters to have a solid morning routine. It definitely matters.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I'll go for a walk. Today's day 62. Day 62 of walking every single day for 62 days. I committed to that.
Woo, girl.
And day 52, I'm going to say it to the world, day 52 of becoming a vegan. Oh my gosh, I have never said that out loud to too many people.
So now we're all going to be checking in, like, what's she doing with her eating?
I have to. I just, God has so much in me that I can't stay the way that I am. So in order to change, you have to change. As far as,
Good.
Yeah, as far as, what's your question again, Cindy?
Oh, it's okay. I know I ask a lot of questions. I was talking to you about, what those affirmations do for you. What is an example of those affirmations, and what is an example of those affirmations? But I love this. I mean, even as you're sharing about your routine, I'm getting inspired and encouraged, of, even some things, what my life can look like. I know over the pandemic when it started, I've made some eating changes, but there need to be more. I know that I need to incorporate more.
Yeah.
And, we don't want to live this wonderful life short, and it doesn't need to be short. We need to make it a life of longevity as best as we can, as best as depends on us. So I really love, and I'm enjoying hearing what you're saying. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about your day, what you've committed to. Is it like a little program or something? But yes, going back to your affirmations and, what is an example of what it looks like and what it does for you?
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't have any specific affirmations. I mean, I have some written down, but to be quite honest with you, I don't read them like I should, but my morning routine is what does it for me. And I would say my affirmation really honestly is God. And then also on top of that, as far as like my morning routine, I do 5 minutes of gratitude. And then also when I'm walking, I do something called exercising, and that's a part of your brain training. So it's like a meditation. It's a combination of meditation and things to help you to overcome like overthinking or whatever the case may be. So I don't have a specific affirmation per se, but I do have some written down that I'll go to every now and then when I need to.
That's so good. You know, so much of what we go through really is in here. It's, you know, Joyce Meyer wrote a book called The Battle Mind of the Ground. It's a battle, it's a battlefield. And a lot of times we are our own battler. We're fighting against ourselves in our own mind. So I think that's so good. I've never heard that term brain training, but I'm about to look into what brain training is.
Yeah.
But you know, last week you mentioned Pastor Jerry. We did have Pastors Jerry and Kimberly on our show last week. They talked about a lot of wonderful things, but one of the things that we lightly touched on was how it's important to meditate on those good and pure things. You know, the Bible is so clear, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's true, meditate on these things. And we are called to renew our mind. And yes, it takes work. It's intentional, but then the fruit of it is amazing. Yes. The fruit of it is you walking out those dreams that are in your heart. The fruit of it is people being blessed as a result of what you envision and what you've overcome in here, and you've allowed to manifest in your life, this beautiful business that's touching the hearts and the lives of people. You know, again, just a few people just saying, I want that t-shirt, you know, just wonderful. And actually someone's asking if they run true to size while we're on the topic of your t-shirts. Want to be sure I answer that.
Well, the t-shirts are actually unisex, so they do run true to size, but if you want like a more fitted look, then you would go a size down, but they're definitely true to size.
Awesome. Awesome. No, that's wonderful. Well, I love that. That is so important. And then I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you also have an events planning business. One of the things that I really enjoyed, which I think it came to my full knowledge and understanding today, is that there's a twofold business here. And I get it, you know, but it's so interesting because still, even though, you know, I have an umbrella with different ministries that funnel underneath them, for some reason, it just didn't click for me that you also have Luxury and Bliss Events.
Yes.
So talk to us about what that looked like in terms of you launching this event planning. Have you always done events? Were you like, oh, I'll plan that, and you've just done that all your life, or getting pulled into planning? You know, how did that whole business come to be?
Yeah, as far as planning is concerned, I actually had launched that business December of 2019, but then the pandemic happened, so I made the decision not to do wedding and events right now with the pandemic. However, I have always planned and designed different events. I used to plan parties for my family, baby showers, my mom's 60th, 50th, 40th birthday, all the milestone birthdays, just anything. And it actually goes back to when I was a little girl, because it's more so like a creativity and having an eye for design. And I remember I used to just always change around my bedroom, and it had to be perfect and just looking, you know, chic or whatever the case may be. So as far as Luxury and Bliss Events is concerned, it actually started in December of 2019. But before then, I went to college. So I went to, what's the name of it? Cal State Temecula. And I became a certified wedding planner. And then me and my daughter, my lovely daughter, we went to New Jersey, and I trained up under a celebrity wedding planner for a few days. And so here we are with that.
Wow, that is so exciting. I love hearing that. First of all, Temecula, that's like the place, that's the location prior to COVID where wedding after wedding after wedding after wedding. I mean, I lived in Temecula. That is wine country. Yeah. And there was always some big event happening in Temecula. Just such a beautiful area and just a beautiful geographical area. So that's exciting. And again, I love what you're saying, because there's something that needs to be, you need to have put some feet on it. and you could say, I want to do this. It's obviously a man's gift makes room for himself is what the Bible says in Proverbs. So you've already been planning even long before you launched your business.
Yeah.
But that something in you clicked, and then you felt like you needed to invest in this. I always say you're not good at where you're at. Like, yes, it's good that you have the dream and the desire, but now what are you going to do with that? You got to work at it. You got to practice. I practice being on camera, when I can. I'm learning, taking master classes from people that are doing it. And so you have to be willing to invest in your gift.
Definitely.
You have to. If you want to be good at it and even be the best at it, you're going to have to be willing to take that time to make that sacrifice, go to New York, go to New Jersey, study from the best, and apply that to the desire and the dream that's already in your heart. You were going to say something, and I think I cut you off.
Yeah, I honestly forgot. I mean, it's been just a journey. So there's a lot that has been involved, and I forgot some things, but I actually trained up under my professor as well. She just loved my work. So I was actually one of her assistants in Temecula. She's known all over Temecula. And I would go to all the different wineries. I would go to all the different resorts and things like that. And I would just assist her as far as that is concerned. There was one other thing I was going to say, but I kind of forgot. But yeah. Oh, I've been to things like the Wedding MBA in Las Vegas. I've been there 2 years in a row. So it's a lot of things that I have done over the years that has led me up to this point.
Well, good for you. That is so amazing. Before we start to wrap this up, and I always feel like this is not enough time, and I don't know how they do it on shows like Good Morning America and all these other shows. I'm like, how do they get all that information in like 3 minutes or 5 minutes? But I think this is meant to be more of a motivational, I'm not delivering hard news and things like that, but so I think we do get to chat a little bit longer. So what we're going to do, I do want to, if there's anything else that you want to share, anything that, maybe that God put in your heart to share before we bring our next guest out, because we are going to have a little time where the two of you are going to have some fun. I love, one of the things we like doing on our show are games. I love games. So we're going to have a little game time with you and our next guest. But is there anything that's on your heart that you would want to share before we bring her out?
Yeah, I would say if you have a vision, if God has blessed you with a vision, don't sit on it too long. Just try your best to figure out the process, do a lot of research, build a solid foundation, and just go for it. It's going to be worth it. It will be hard at times, but the vision is always going to be worth it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is so good. You gave me goosebumps again. So girl, yes. I'm not a big goosebumpy person, but I've noticed that that's been happening a lot more lately. I'm like, Lord, what's going on? I'm getting all kinds of goosebumps here. So that's beautiful. I love that. And that's just really some wonderful words to leave all of our viewers with is, yes, go for it. Do that thing that's in your heart. If somewhere down the road you realize this wasn't the right thing for me to pursue, then at least you can say you tried. But for things like just feeling like I'm afraid of failing, we all feel that. We all fear failure. I wanted to crawl under a rock last week with my show for 3 minutes. I'm talking and nobody could hear me. And I didn't know, and then during Kimberly come on, and then I don't remember if they couldn't hear me or I couldn't hear them. I mean, you're just thinking, oh my goodness, really. But at the same time, I was telling the team, like it shouldn't excite me, but it kind of does, because I realize that there's still so much more to learn, and we're only going to get better. And then I think it also teaches you how to respond. Like sometimes your mind and your just kind of gets used to coasting in some ways. And when you're in that situation, it brings and it alerts you to this whole new, your mind's functioning at this other capacity that it wouldn't normally do. So I do look forward to those, not all the time, but I do look right. And not every week either. It's like, no, but there is something to be said about learning and growing from your mistakes. And so you sure have brought so much just wisdom. And thank you for coming and bringing your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful uh, ministry, your business, your t-shirts, your insight. Just so much is going on here. So I want to thank you for that. And for those of you that want, please go to her website, luxuryandbliss.com, luxuryandbliss.com. You are not going to know which t-shirt to get. And you probably won't just get one. You're probably going to want to get a few, because they're beautiful, they're classy. I like the one with your daughter. Yes, classy is how I keep it. I'm like, yes, girl. And I have those same pants. I will not be rocking it as gorgeous as she looks, but I'm still going to be rocking it.
Can I just say I made her? Well, God made her first, and then I made her second.
She has a beautiful mama. And so, yes, you can say it. Absolutely. We're so thankful to have you on here. Jameka, we're going to want to have you back because we're just going to want to be updated with what's going on, that new thing going on in your life. And of course, just all the different things you're talking about, brain training, and just so much was shared. I hope y'all are taking notes, because she just gave you added a lot of value to your life in this one small segment of Monday night. So, Jameka, thank you. Don't go anywhere though, because we are about to bring out our next guest. And so I'm so excited. This woman, she is small but mighty. She is an educator. She has a heart for her youth like nobody's business. She's not just one of those educators that does it all here. What I hear from her is all right in here. It's kids that are at high risk, and she loves every one of them so much. And not only that, she's this incredible artist. You're going to hear about how she came into being an artist. I'm going to let her share that with you, but I love that she shares and not keeps her gift just for herself, but she shares it with those that she teaches and instructs. Would you welcome with me tonight Miss Liz Vega? Liz, are you here, girl?
I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to have you. We've done so many other things together too, but I'm like, well, we can keep that for the conversation. But before we say goodbye to Ms. Jameka, meet Liz. Liz, meet Jameka. I think we met real quick in the backstage. But we're going to do a fun little game. It's a game called What's That? So we've done it in the past where we've had our I was going to say studio audience, where we've had our online audience guessing what that is, but we're going to do it right now with the two of you. So we're about to start this fun little game called What's That? So you're going to have, here, should we do like 5 seconds, 10 seconds? Did we decide? We didn't decide. Okay, we'll just see the first. We'll do 10, and the one of you that can guess it first will win that point. So on your mark, get set. First item, what's that?
Potato chip.
No.
Oh, a flamingo.
Flamingo, that's it. Yes. Can you show us the flamingo? Can we? Yes, survey said flamingo. Woo! Okay, the next image. What's that? Next image.
A house.
Good.
Oh.
I know that one's a little hard.
A rock.
A boulder. A nose.
Okay, time. Nobody got that point. No one got that point. Let's see what that image really was. In honor of pancakes. Okay, next image. What's that?
A t-shirt.
Door. Oh.
Yes, it's a t-shirt. Way to go, Jameka. And guess what? That's one of Jameka's t-shirts. Love to love.
I love that design.
I should hope so. That's another one that I want. So that's already 3 church t-shirts that I know I want. Love to love. God, 100% God's daughter, and keep it classy. Those three. Okay. All right. Last image. Last image. What's that?
My art. The colors. I was like, I need it.
That is so beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Well, that's amazing. Well, ladies, thank you so much for playing this fun game. I love doing games. We did a really fun game with Pastors Jerry and Kimberly last week. It was really cute. It was like a who's more likely to, and they had to hold up a she or a he, and then if it matched, and it was so much fun. They had me cracking up. Well, Jameka, it's been a joy. We've got to have you back. Luxuryandbliss.com. You want to head there. If we could get her Instagram information on there, that would be great. Jameka Joiner, her IG is Luxury and Bliss Faith Apparel, and then Luxury and Bliss Events. So there's two. Follow them both. And then also her websites are luxuryandbliss.com and luxuryandblissevents.com. Is that right, Jameka?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I want to tell you that you inspire me. So I look up to you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. The feeling is mutual, my friend. So we'll definitely be having you back. You keep up those designs that you're doing. They're just beautiful. Your creations are gorgeous. And I got your name and number down because I'm believing that there'll be a wedding be happening very soon in the name of Jesus.
All right.
Somebody asked me, my dad asked me, and this is, I'm not to be sharing this, like heartbreaking news, but one of my dads suffered a massive heart attack about 2 weeks ago from today. Oh. And so I said, no, I haven't got married yet. Both he and my dad, because I got two dads, or they're going to both march me down the aisle, Lord. And so I got to talk to my dad, and he just real quiet. And he said, so is there someone in the picture? I was like, nope. But you're going to be giving me away to him, whoever he is, and whenever he pops up. So anyway, it was so wonderful having you on here, Jameka. Thank you so much. Just best wishes to you. And we'll just keep praying, adding your business to our prayer list. We're just excited about the many more things you're going to create. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye, Jameka. Well, wonderful having her on here. And my good friend, Liz, you're here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. Well, you're one of my favorite artists. And I think I tell you so frequently and so often how your paintings, they just get me here. And I know your story is very unique because, for some people, like Jameka was even sharing how she was planning events and parties and things for her family since she was little. But I feel like your story is a little different, actually, when you actually coming into the fact that you enjoyed painting and that you were good at it, didn't start when you were a little girl. So talk to us a little bit about that journey and how it came to be, how old you were when it happened. Because I have a feeling that there are a lot of people like you that would be watching and not even realize that they have the gifts that they have.
Okay. Yeah. So it all kind of started when I was about 28 or so. And the reason I started 28 is that's when I first started my walk with Christ. And as I was living a life before walking with Christ, like, going out a lot, going to clubs, and just really invested in school and just doing so many other things. But at 28, I really started just really digging and reading the Bible for the first time as an adult. And because of that, I was going to church. And I remember listening to a choir singer, and he shared a story that he prayed to God to give him a gift, and he just could sing. So because I thought, wow, that's amazing. So if you could just pray to God and ask him to give you a gift of some sort, he'll just give it to you. So I went home and I prayed, and I thought that I was going to be a singer, and that definitely didn't happen. I'm still not much of a singer.
Except for maybe in the shower.
Yeah, maybe not even then. But, not too long after that, a cousin of mine invited me over, and, he said, hey, just come on over and paint. And, it's something to help you with the stress, because, I'm a teacher and I love my job, but it can be stressful at times. And so we painted some lilies, and we both sat back and we looked at them, and we both just kind of thought, well, they're not that ugly. They're actually okay looking. So what started happening is that I started reading the Bible more and more and more. And after that, I started sketching the Bible verse, like a woman in response to the Bible verse. And I just started painting it, one by one. And through that, what I found was that as I painted, I started healing from some of my past. I started growing and understanding the Bible. That's how I was communicating with God, and God was communicating with me. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Wow, that is so amazing. I just can't even imagine going through life not realizing that you have this amazing gift, because like I said, your paintings are just gorgeous. And there was one time I was just scrolling through Instagram, and we'll have some of your pictures up in a little bit, but I remember just one time just scrolling through Instagram, and there was a picture on there, and I could feel the joy. I could feel the freedom, and my eyes just began to well with tears. And to think that all of these years went by and you didn't realize that you had a gift of artistry and a gift to be able to draw and to paint. To me, that is just crazy. I feel like I just heard that recently as well. I was on a webinar, a phone call just recently, and someone had said the same thing. It was very similar to your story. And I thought, how do people not realize they have these gifts? When
I think about it, it's because I spent so much time trying to do life my own way. So I thought that fun looked like, being at the club every weekend. It looked like trying to date different people and spending my time there. But I feel like when I really spent time really searching for God, I truly found myself. And I started having fun for the first time, because I wasn't spending every weekend recovering. If people, have done the club scene, it's like you get ready on Friday night, and then Saturday morning you're recovering, and then you do it again Saturday night. But for the first time, I was able to sit and listen to God and let him speak to me. And I found myself. I found out that, hey, I like to hike. Hey, I enjoy painting, because I had the time and I had the clarity of mind to do it. So
isn't that something? I love this conversation, because how many of us, and I would say I found myself in that same boat, doing and pursuing things that I thought I needed to be doing and pursuing. And really a lot of it amounted to zero. For example, and I don't like this to be like a churchy show, but I do want to share something. I remember being at a party. I was probably 21, 22 years old, and the music's bumping and everybody doing their thing, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, like I could say like a veil was like removed or something, and I just had this thought: why do we all have to be drinking and partying to have fun?
Right.
Like, it was just this weird. I was a cheerleader. I was, a cheerleader at a local junior community college. And so, yeah, I mean, I was living life like like the rest of them, doing it up like the best of them, But I just had this thought just crossed my mind, because, I'm looking at everybody like, hey, doing their thing. But every one of us, had to be drunk or had to be drinking. And that thought just crossed my mind. I felt like I saw a flashback of the kids on Pleasure Island in Pinocchio turning into donkeys. Literally, it was like, I was like, oh, literally, I felt like I could hear that and see that. And I was one of those kids on Pleasure Island turning into a donkey with my little tail starting to grow, you know? And that was truly the year where I put a halt on everything that I thought I should be doing and doing things the way that everybody else was doing it. Just because everyone else was doing it didn't mean that I needed to be doing what everybody else was doing. In fact, my life is called to be so very different.
Mm-hmm.
Even for people that are doing similar things to what I'm doing, even for all of us, all of our lives are different. We all have a different path. We all have a different road to take. We all have, like, you know, with Jameka, with what she was sharing with, you know, her brain training and different things. Like, we all have different things that we should be investing in and really putting our time and our energy in to help us be to fulfill our destiny, really is what it comes down to. So I love that you said that, because I think so many people find themselves in that, doing the things that they think they need to be doing, whether it's to keep up with the Joneses, whether it's so they can live that American dream life, and yet they're in debt, thousands and thousands of dollars,
Right.
and their households are falling apart. There's chaos. There's not peace. There's brokenness. There's heartache. There's cheating. There's unfaithfulness. There's lying. There's all of these abuse. There's all of these things happening. And if we could just for a minute take a quick inventory and say, what really, like, parties aside, all of my friends aside, me just getting by myself and saying, really, what should I be doing?
Right.
And, you know, I know that not everybody watching would even call themselves a Christian or not, but even if you don't consider yourself, take a minute and say, you know, God, if you're real, what should I be doing right now? What should my life look like right now? What should I be investing my time in right now? Why am I soothing my pain with a high consumption of alcohol? What am I running away from? What am I covering up? There's so many questions and things we can be asking ourselves and getting real life answers so we can live a life of wholeness and not a life built on unstable and false foundations.
Right.
So you saying that just took me into this whole other rabbit hole, but thank you for sharing that, because I think there's something to be said of that. And you had experienced heartbreak, you know, just with the loss, I know, in your life, you know, growing up. And so sometimes we do put those things in our lives to cover up the pain because we don't want to deal with it. We really don't. It's hard, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. So when I was 18, my brother did pass away. And yeah, I avoided it for so long. And it was so easy to. I mean, even I think just avoiding it through good things. I mean, I avoided that pain, even just throwing myself into college and just getting distracted by that. And it was a great thing. And I would highly encourage someone to, you know, pursue whatever you want to, you know, what you have your heart set on.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I did avoid dealing with the grief of it. And, you know, the as I started learning how to paint, it was also a time, it was like I guess some type of like journaling for me, and just really just sitting with it and really just kind of understanding that, you know, just that God was with me the whole time. And again, I know that maybe not everyone is Christian, and, you know, there's always going to be questions, and there's always going to be, you know, a process of dealing with that. But I can just tell you that just sitting there and just painting my heart away and just looking at nature and then just trying to, you know, capture some of that in my art just gave me a sense of peace. So like the hummingbirds, for example. So the ones that we saw earlier, I remember when I was in this, there was a day that I was in, like, just, you know, when you're just in your head, and I was just feeling it, because on top of losing my brother years later, I was engaged, and the engagement fell apart. And, you know, so it was a really strange feeling, because it felt like I hadn't dealt with the loss of the relationship. And because of that, it had triggered feelings and thoughts that I had about losing my brother. So it was just like multi-layered. And I remember one day I'm at work and the thoughts are just, plaguing my mind. And at that time, again, this was back when I first, started reading the Bible. And I remember reading a verse in Matthew to look at the birds and to know and to not worry, because if, God takes care of the birds and he makes sure that they're taken care of, then surely he'll take care of us. And that day, like no joke, I'm walking into the main office of the school where I worked at the time, and 2 hummingbirds just kind of crisscrossed right in front of me. And it felt like they just snapped me out of my funk. And I thought of that verse. And that's why I painted those hummingbirds, because it felt like when I needed a reminder, I needed something to just show me that, hey, it's okay still, you're going to be fine. And in the midst of this, even if things didn't change, you're going to be okay. So yeah, so I painted them, and it's interesting because there have been times that I've been at different art shows, and people who have experienced loss tend to gravitate towards that particular art piece. And it's funny because we can talk about it. And I just don't think it's a coincidence that, that they look at that one.
That's so good. And it's such a beautiful picture. It really is. Hummingbirds are some of my mom's favorites. She just gets so tickled, but birds anyway, birds are just so sweet, and it's so true. I think, how are they able to, eat how do they find what they eat? And, even how they make their little nests, and it's all with their little beaks, there's just, there's something so special about, I love animals anyway, but there's something so special about those birds, but just so beautiful, and just the healing. I love that you had mentioned that. I wrote that down, that for you, the art and the painting was a form of journaling. And there's something very healing that comes from expressing your feelings, whether it's sitting at the piano. How many times have I sat at the piano and just wept, not singing or anything, but just playing, because you can express yourself with those gifts that are inside you. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did with your painting. Some people do it through writing, and there are outlets that we've been given where we're able to express the joy, the pain. We can connect with those artistic and those creative things. And so it's so beautiful. Yeah, exactly this. Right now, the beauty instead of ashes, joy instead of mourning, praise instead of despair. Your work is just so beautiful. I just see this woman who's just dancing before the Lord, and there's no audience except for him. It's literally an audience of one. Yes. And it's so beautiful. And then one of my favorite, which one of the other ones will pop up, but girl, this one, you just did this more recently, and like my heart literally leaped when I saw that, or leapt. Tell me, teacher, is it leapt or leaped?
So that one actually is one I've been working on for a special friend named Cindy Galley.
That is
that is it. So it's almost done, actually. So I'll you'll see it very, very soon. So it's funny because I know we've been talking about it for a while, the colors and just different themes. And I was like, I would really like to, work on a dress that's just very like the and just, very fashionable and just
wow.
Very excited to see it when it's done. Very excited.
I'm excited. I'm going to be more excited. Well, maybe not because you're the artist, but I probably will be. Well, this is one that you did that I actually purchased. Mm-hmm. And I have it up right now in my little living room area. And it's just, that was another one. I actually got to see the painting in your room where you do your art. And I walked in, I was just like, oh, like it literally, that was one that took my breath away. Again, it's like even seeing them here, but then when you see them in person, there's just, you hear the sounds, you smell the scents and the fragrances. I mean, and it's interesting because a lot of your art, they're women with no faces.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you can feel like if you want to talk a little bit about that, then fine. If not, no worries. But even without faces, you can see the smiling, you can see and feel the expression in your art.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So what I really focus on when I'm painting is basically the woman's posture and her response to the verse that I use for that particular art piece. So like, for example, like the one we saw earlier where she's just kind of kneeling down, it's exactly just that, where she's just like praising, she's praying. And I have other ones where, the woman has her arms like, out and open and spread out, and it's the same thing. So I just really like focusing on that and just her response to the verse. So I'm really focusing on the movement of the body and her dress and her attire. But yeah, and I think I think it's a way for anyone to connect with it. So, they're not going to see my face on it. You can see
we want a face. We want your face. We want your face.
We
want your face.
I had a coworker at the middle school where I used to work, and it was funny.
Sorry.
He put one of those transparency paper things on it on top of my art piece, and then he drew a happy face on it. It was funny.
Wait a minute. You said a Snoopy face or Goofy face?
Like a little smiley face. I don't know what.
Oh my word.
It was funny.
I think it is. I'm sure it was very funny. I feel like they are so powerful, and without the face, it's even more thought provoking, and you really sense the emotion. So I think there's something to that. Even with what you're saying, I don't know if we have this other one. No, I didn't. I don't think I put it up, but here's some of your collections. And the one in the middle is the one that I love too. I think that may have been the one that brought tears to my eyes because you could just feel the freedom. You could feel the joy. You hear the laughter. You feel the movement of the earth as they're dancing. And I just loved that picture. That's the one that did bring those tears to my eyes. Again, so much of your art I love, Liz. And I could tell you that every day, and you'd probably say, okay, but I could tell you every day how much I love your art. And there's just something to be said. And then I think it's beautiful, not only that you understood that you had a gift, but you continue to foster it and you continue to grow it. I feel like probably you would say that you have had to step out in faith, and it probably has been a little bit scary. You're a teacher by day and an artist by night, but you're still putting yourself out there. You're putting your work out there. You're putting your heart into what you're doing. So talk to us a little bit about what that's like. And then I do have a part 2, but I tend to ask so many questions. I get so excited. So we'll keep here, and we're going to try to be wrapped up by 8:30.
Okay.
I think last week we had was it a little bit over 2 hours? So somebody said, oh, I thought your show was 2 hours long. It's like, no. It's supposed to be 1 hour.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, I to be honest, I mean, it was when I started painting, it was just for myself. It wasn't something I ever intended to ever sell or to make prints of or to do any of that. But I do believe that people were put in my life for a reason, to push me out of my comfort zone. I remember the first time someone suggested I put my art on print. I thought they were nuts. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, no one's going to buy it. No one's going to buy this artwork. Like, it's great on my walls, but, no one's going to want it in their home.
Wow.
And, I thought about it. You know, this friend continually encouraged me, and eventually I did contact a print shop, and then I contacted a photographer, and you know, I made my first prints, and I sold some, and it was scary. I think anytime you step out of your comfort zone, it's scary because it feels like someone's judging something that's so personal, and especially as I put my heart into my art, it's not just art that I was making to sell. It was something that, you know, was just, yeah, like I said earlier, it was like my personal journey, my personal walk, of just walking through life. And yeah, so putting it out there was very, it was scary. But over time, I think it just started evolving and growing. And eventually, where I teach now, actually, my boss is really great. And she gave me an opportunity to teach art to my students, even though I'm not actually a credentialed art teacher. So it's pretty great. It's amazing that through that I've been able to kind of just grow, and just, you know, people in my life who have pushed me, including you, Cindy, definitely have pushed me and encouraged me. And, you know, over time, it's been an amazing journey, and just my willingness to just, and not even willing, sometimes I kind of go kicking and screaming a little, and, but still willing to step out. So, yeah.
Well, we're so glad you did. I have to say, so how, because this is one of the pictures, I believe, of some of your students.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So that your students, tell us the ages of your students, and, you know, how do you get them all to, you know, how do you get them excited about the pieces that they're working on? Because these are so colorful. They're so fun. I mean, some of them are so detailed, I can see.
Yes.
I mean, I can barely make a stick person. I mean, I'm not kidding. I can barely draw like a little man, you know, and I do a little stick. I mean, that's probably the worst. The best it's going to be is this.
You know what? That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, I could draw some hair.
It's okay. No, but you know what, that process, it's been amazing. I think it's a great way to teach my students character and resilience, actually, and patience. Because whenever you start an art piece, people sometimes think that they're going to finish it in a day, and that's not what happens. It's a process. So helping them work through that, I think, has helped a lot of students just build their ability to just see a project through from beginning to end, and to show them that even if they make mistakes along the way, sometimes those mistakes become part of the art, and make them make the piece unique. So it's been really great just walking them through that and showing them, like, hey, your art, I mean, it's definitely not going to look like your neighbor's art. And that's just like us, right? Like earlier, I think you were saying that everyone has their own journey. So with that, I'm able to teach them, like, hey, somebody's going to like your art, and someone's going to see something unique and special about your stuff versus like your classmates. So with that, the cool thing is that for 2 years already, we've had a student art show, and the students have been able to sell their art. And then with the funds, we take them on field trips, and, you know, just take them out to eat and just kind of enrich the program a bit more. And so it's been really great, and just enjoying that.
Wow. I love that. You know, again, even earlier with Jameka, we were talking about how a man's gift makes room for himself. And so the fact that you're able to do this with your students, though you're not a certified art teacher, and yet here you are inspiring and encouraging and challenging your kids to paint. And then from their paint, from what they're creating, they're able to sell and make a profit to go toward. I mean, what a beautiful process, and to be a part of that cycle must be so amazing for them, especially for kids that are at risk. I think what you're doing is so beautiful because it's giving them an understanding, like, oh, I can do something else. There is more for me, maybe other than the environment that I'm living in, or maybe than my atmosphere at home, than my home life tells me. There is, for them, it could even be a form of expression. I mean, there's so many things that's so beautiful about what you're doing. I just wanted to share, this is the one, just such a beautiful, so beautiful, Liz. And I love that you said that it teaches the kids character, resilience, and patience. So for example, how long did it take you to draw this drawing? And then where does your inspiration come from? Maybe like Jameka, also from the word, but where do you get your inspiration from to draw these beautiful pieces?
It is definitely, so that one, I'll just go with the time first. That one took me about, I'd say about maybe 2 months or so of just maybe spending 20, 30 minutes after work working on it, or just, just continual. And it was just spending day after day. And some days, because of work sometimes, does get a little stressful. Maybe I go a few days without working on it. But it's just, again, it teaches me patience as well, of seeing a project through all the way from beginning to end. So yeah, I'd say the larger ones take about like a month or two to just kind of, continually work at it. And the inspiration for that particular piece, that one was inspired by the fact that, so that one is entitled The Bride of Christ. And for that, I mean, it's one of those things that's multi-layered as well, because I am single, and
you are strong,
and I am strong. No, but it's just, the idea sometimes that, sometimes people ask those questions and they don't mean to, but at the time I was just definitely just thinking that I am chosen. I am, I have worth in it, and I have worth not because of my marital status or, but because of who I am and because of who God made me. And the verses that I used for that were the ones that focus on, that you'll be without wrinkle or blemish, and that you're chosen, and that God, he calls us to just be with him. And with that, that's where our worth comes from.
Wow, that's so good. That's another topic for the single person, because you said so much, and really it's also applicable to somebody who's married, what you just shared. But I want to go back to, you said that, for example, that beautiful picture took you about 2 months, and you were spending about, you said 30 minutes a day on it, or as you were able, because you're working in the day. And then as you were able to put your hand to it. And I appreciate you saying that. I feel like sometimes we won't want to do something because we think we have to do it all right now. Like all of it has to be done right now.
Right.
And so one of my business partners who, we have a production company, and we're working on the post-production of a series that we filmed, and we did a pilot on it. And, I was trying to review all of the individual interviews, and then I didn't want to do it because I'm like, I don't have 6 hours to do it right now. And then all of a sudden this thought came to me, just take it one chunk at a time. You don't have to do it all right now. And then I was like, oh, that's so easy, and so then I was able to do it one at a time. And then if you think about it, like say what you need to do is 12 hours long, and you give yourself 2 weeks, then it's done in 2 weeks. If it's a 12-hour project and it requires an hour a day, sometimes I think we forget to just work out those types of details and make a plan that's doable, that's eatable or edible. I talked with somebody a few weeks ago, like you wouldn't take an elephant and try to eat the whole thing at once. Like, I don't like that analogy, but it was a class that I was in, and they were saying, how do you eat an elephant? You do it even a cow. Let's take a cow instead. Right. You don't eat the whole cow I know. I was like, why did he use an elephant? But I think just because of the size, the enormity of the animal. But you still, even with a cow, you're eating a little bit of beef at a time. You don't just eat the whole cow in one sitting.
Right.
And so it's so important to note that big projects and things like that, use your time and break it up into just inedible bite-sized pieces.
No, definitely. And sorry, did I cut you off? Sorry.
No, I'm done. You go, girl. You go.
No, but I definitely, what I do, because I think I have so much on my plate sometimes, with work, and I'm trying to balance spending time with my family, with friends, and just everything, is I do schedule it in. So I do have a planner that I use for just about everything, and including my art. So I make sure that I work on it at least 2 to 3 times a week. And that just kind of keeps me going, keeps the momentum going, and just to remind me to work on it. Because I mean, it's so easy to get lost in just, work. And sometimes those days where you just feel like vegging out and not doing anything. But those days I see it on my planner and I'm like, no, today you're going to go ahead and paint. And when I do, I feel so much better. So yeah, I do make time for it.
That's good. Yeah, you've got to make time for that. I love that. And then, another question that I had, and as we start to wrap up, is how do you know when you're done? Because I don't, how do you know when you're finished? I mean, I've written a song, before, or, so I know when it's finished. It's like, okay, this is done. It has the chords, it has the lyrics, it has the chorus, there's my bridge, and now it's coming to an end. So this is how I know. But for something like art, how do you know? Or is it the same kind of sensing? You just know?
It's kind of, the same feeling. It's kind of like when you put the period at the end of a sentence, you just know it's done. It's a complete thought right there. I just stand back and I look at it and I just feel like, there's not much more I can add to it. It's done. I feel like it's done. I can feel it. And then I just leave it alone. So
don't keep going back to it.
No, I do not. No, because then it'll never end.
Yes.
There's something you can continually look at and say, I need to change that, or I need to fix that. And I just leave it. I feel like, hey, I did my best. I poured my heart out. It's done. This is my best.
That's so good. That's a good word. Well, thank you so much for that. I mean, there are so many other things that I so want to ask you, but it looks like we are already past 8:30. So we're gonna wind it down. But I really appreciate some of those things. So, what would you say to somebody? We'll end with this. What would you say to someone, who might be in your shoes where you were when you didn't know you had a gift? Sometimes I meet people and they go, I'm not gifted at all. And I think I don't think that's true. I think every one of us has a gift. We just don't necessarily know about it. And in the next few weeks, I'm also going to have a dear friend who I've known for years. And because of the pandemic, she learned how to crochet and she's really good at it.
Yeah.
And she said she would never have known that had she not just saw something that inspired her to just give it a try. And now she's, cranking out pieces for people because they're loving them.
Right.
What would you say to somebody who feels like I don't have any gift, or to somebody who feels like I do have a gift, but I just don't know how to foster it?
I would say it's time. It's just spending that time on a weekly basis, daily basis, and just working at it. Because I know even with like my art, my first piece looks very different than my last piece. And I think with time, we get better and we'll grow, and, we'll be able to meet new people in that particular field, whatever it is that you're into. And I think just knowing that whatever you're doing is unique to you, and just doing it anyway, and not trying to copy anyone else's style, and not trying to, to be anyone else, but just to be yourself, and to just follow that. And I don't think you can go wrong if you're just working your own gift.
Woo! That was a goosebump right there. Work your own gift. That is so good. Work your own gift. It's time. We do get better as we work on it. We do grow. And what else did I? Oh, don't copy. I think that's something to be said to everybody. In fact, I just did a post today. It was kind of vulnerable on Instagram, and it was a picture. It was like a photo that we did. And in this particular photo shoot, we were by the beach. It was in the morning. There was a lot of moisture, and my hair is not normally look like this. Like if I were to take a shower right now and let it dry curly, it would just be lots of ringlets, you know. But when it's like this and I'm by the beach, it starts to go, it starts inflating and it starts getting big. And so that particular photo shoot, my hair was getting bigger by the minute. And I had to say, I had so much fun. There was a time in my life where that would not have been the case. There was a time in my life where I would have been sobbing hysterically and so upset that my hair was so big. And so it was something that I shared with today on my Instagram post. But at the end of the day, I stopped wishing, at the age of 27, I stopped wishing that my hair would look like somebody else's. Like I would say, how come my hair doesn't look like theirs? How come? And I wanted my hair to look like theirs. And it's like, no. And so every one of us are uniquely made. We are unique individuals. Not one of our fingerprints are the same, even with twins, even for every person in your family has the DNA, but not one person's DNA is exactly the same.
Right.
That is a miracle working God. We have been fearfully and wonderfully made, and that our soul knows very well. And so I love that you just said that. Don't copy. Just be you. Be genuine and true to who you are. And then that coupled with your gift, man, that is powerful right there. That's a powerhouse. You could have 10 different artists, and every one of you have a different way that you draw, that you paint, probably different way that you, whatever those, the coloring in or the shading, whatever the different things are. I think that's just so important for every person. Yes, you can have your mentors and people that you sit under and you learn. Even then, we need to remember to work at not trying to copy them.
Right.
Learn from them and how to master the gift, and then but keep it here with who you are and be true to yourself. So that is beautiful, beautifully said. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would love to share with our viewers before we say goodbye to you?
Thank you for listening, and thank you for having me. And you're a great friend, and you are one of my mentors. So thank you.
Oh, girl. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be in your life, and thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. I always think we don't know what's on the other side of that yes. And I love that on the other side of your yes, you are meeting new people. When you're out at these art exhibits, you're exposing yourself to all these other artists, and you're a part of a whole other community and network. And so there's just so many beautiful things I believe that have come out and that you'll still continue to experience as you continue to do this. So we wish you all the best. Would you, before we go, and I don't pray every time, but I prayed once already over the state of Texas, but there might be somebody watching that says, I want to know what my gift is. Would you just pray for the viewers real quick?
Yeah.
And then we'll end it. We'll wrap it up.
Okay. Lord God, I just want to thank you for today. And I thank you for each and every viewer that's listening, and any person who comes across this message. And I pray over them, and I ask that you speak to their hearts, and that they are reminded of the thing that you have been speaking to them time and time again, and that you give them the courage to step out in faith to pursue it. Give them vision, give them creative thought, and just remind them that you are the one who orders our steps, so they shouldn't be afraid. And just bless them, and just be with them as they step out. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Liz. And yes, I know I told Jameka we're going to have her back, but we are going to have you back too, because we do need to have a single girls edition.
Yes.
We're just talking about being what it's like to be single, but yet pursuing everything that's in your heart and just going for it with everything that you have. There's something to be said about that. And you are one of those women that do that. And you're impacting and touching so many lives, from mine, probably even people that are older than me. And then I know your students as well. So thank you for being who you are and just being willing to come on here. We've so loved having you on our show. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow. So this show was power-packed show with two amazing women who are doing it. They're doing it. They're pursuing the things that are in their heart. They're not letting their marital status get in the way. They're saying, no, this is what's in my heart. This is what I'm going to do. And so we want to just remind you that you have something so amazing that you're called to do. You have something so specific, and it might even be something you're not doing right now. That's why it's called a new thing, because we want you to tap into that new thing that needs to happen in your life, into that something new. So we thank you for joining us. A huge thank you to Jameka Joiner, the CEO of Luxury and Bliss, and a huge thank you to Liz Vega. Like I said, she's an educator by day, but she's an artist extraordinaire by night. And we want to say thank you to you for watching, those that are watching live and those that are watching on demand. Thank you so much. We want to hear from you. So reach out to us. Follow us on Instagram. We are a new thing.live. Email us your prayer requests. We are hello@anewthinglive.com. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you are alerted every time a New Thing Live goes online. Sometimes there's just little things. It won't always be a New Thing Live. There's some fun things that we have coming up, but we want to hear from you. So be sure to contact us, Instagram, Facebook, and we are really going to start saying, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. I actually said that once just as we were filming something, and we laughed so hard that I was even snorting in the middle of my laugh with our other producer. And so we want you to subscribe. And we're so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Be open and alert, and be expecting good things to happen to you this week. We want to be praying with you, though. If there's anything you need, we are here for you. Have an amazing week. Stay safe. Wash your hands with hot water. And we will see you next week on A New Thing Live.
Are you ready?